Okay, we're approaching the year's end here. Today is Thanksgiving in the United States. So I thought I would make a, kind of an update on what I'm doing with languages, or to just talk a little bit informally about what I'm doing with languages and how I handle the problem of limitations on my time. Well, first of all, with all the languages I'm interested in, there's obviously a problem. There's a problem of finding time for them all. Certain languages are simply crowded out. I mean, that's a fact of life. I was studying Swahili this summer, and it simply got crowded out of my schedule. Just as one example. So, what can we do about this? I think what I've been doing is simply allowing life itself to decide which languages I'm going to be concentrating in one way or another, to a lesser or greater degree, and finding a niche for different languages is another way of allowing life itself to accommodate things. If you can find an interesting way of using the language, you don't have to go out of your way looking for materials. So what have I been doing? One thing I found very useful for languages like Persian and Arabic is reading books like this one. This guy's an excellent poet. I think he's a top-notch poet. Now this Nizar Kabani, you can see that it's bilingual. Okay, you can also see my underlinings there, which indicate something. What the underlinings in red indicate here is that I understood the Arabic text. Now the English translations all appear to be very accurate, and they provided me with a way of moving directly into the Arabic text without having to have recourse to a dictionary or struggle with words or anything like that. So this is something I strongly advocate, especially if you're into poetry. Get a hold of a bilingual. If you don't like poetry, get a hold of a bilingual prose book. It's great. I have several like that for Arabic. I think the most interesting one is this. Let me see. I can have a lot of underlining. Well, here we go. Okay. You can see that there are two languages here. There's the original Arabic, and there's a Latin translation that was published at the beginning of the 18th century. The advantage of this, for me, is that I get to practice two of my target languages simultaneously without a lot of English getting in the way. I know English too well. I've seen the same words in English millions and millions of times. Okay, so I kind of think that if I can avoid using English, if I can study one language through another language, that's far better. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm studying the Arabic. I'm approaching the Arabic text through the Latin translation. Now this is currently one of my favorite novels, It's a novel coming out of 12th century Spain. So I was fortunate to get a copy of that at a very cheap price. Okay, other things I've been doing, well, just reading a lot in Latin. This is a book by Sir Francis Bacon on an English king. Very well written, very elegant, and I love reading in Latin. I don't care about those people who think that Latin is part of some dead weight from the past. I think those people are totally wrong, and I have no hesitation in saying so. People of many, well up into the 18th century, even to the 19th century, many great intellectuals loved the Latin language, and not because of it was some dead weight from the past that had been passed on to them. Okay, other things I do with language, there's certain languages where there's just a lot of interesting stuff out there on YouTube. YouTube is absolutely wonderful in that regard. And I found there's an awful lot of neat stuff in Turkish, at least in my opinion. There's a lot of really interesting dramatic series and soap operas and so forth. And although I can't speak Turkish yet, I can understand enough to actually enjoy watching these. Most of them don't have any subtitles or anything like this, but I can thoroughly enjoy watching them. And this is partially because of the books like the Asimil book on Turkish, which gave me enough knowledge to have that appreciation. I read it in French, by the way, the Asimil Turkish book. Well, that's it.